You're looking at the Champion 27-ton log splitter and you're thinking about buying it. Is it any good? Today, we're going to find out. The Champion 27-ton log splitter is a boss. It can split logs up to 24 inches long and logs that weigh up to 100 pounds, which means if you just chop down a tree and chop it into rounds, this puppy can handle them while they're still full of sap, no problem. The Champion 27-ton log splitter weighs 434 pounds and has dot-rated tires. So you can roll up to the hardware store, buy one of these puppies, and hook it right up to your truck and drag her home. So dimensions on this bad boy, it's 89.5 inches long, 51.3 inches wide, and 39 inches tall. The engine is a 224cc single cylinder OHV engine, and it has a manual pull start. This puppy starts up really well. Even in the dead of winter when she's completely cold, it fires right on every time. The gas tank is located on top of the engine, and this engine takes just regular gasoline, 87 octane, so you don't need to have any kind of special pre-mix Motomix or anything like that, and it'll hold up to 0.8 of a gallon of gasoline. The engine oil formulation is 10W30, and it can be added to the log splitter right down here. You'll see there's a little yellow dipstick checker down here. You'd put a funnel in there and add your engine oil in directly there, and it'll hold up to half a quart of 10W30 engine oil. This little screw cap back here is where you're going to add the hydraulic oil. So to get this off, I just use a 3/4 inch wrench. I loosen it with a 3/4 inch wrench, and then I finish loosening it by hand threading it. Never add hydraulic oil to a machine that's hot. There could be some pressurized oil left over in this reservoir that could bubble up when you open the cap and could cause a burn. If you take a look at the back of the splitter, you'll see this big rectangle, and that is actually the reservoir for the hydraulic oil. This log splitter will hold up to 4.5 gallons of AW32 hydraulic oil, and there is a view window right here to let you know the level. Links are in the description below for the specific oils that are used by this machine. This log splitter has an 11-second cycle time. So what that means is that this splitting ram takes 11 seconds to come all the way down into its terminal position and then return back to a neutral position behind the safety guide. That means that when used continuously, you can complete up to 300 cycles an hour. 27 tons. Some of you might be wondering what that specification means. That means that this hydraulic is capable of producing up to 27 tons of ram pressure on this splitting head when it comes down onto a log. And let's just say I haven't met a log that this baby hasn't been able to handle. This log splitter allows you to split logs in either a horizontal position or a vertical position. Now, most of the time, I'll use it in the horizontal position because it's easier on the back to kind of work at this level up here. But if you just cut down a big tree and you have this huge heavy round that's full of sap and just too heavy to lift, you can switch this to a vertical splitting position very easily. Just come over to the front, locate a pin, pull this cotter pin out, take this pin out, and you'll notice that there's a handle. You just lift it up and it pops up into a vertical position. Then once you have it split into a more manageable piece, you just pull it back down, nice and slow, lower it into position, put your pin back in, put the cotter pin back on for safety, and you're good to go. When you're using the log splitter, you have a nice work area. You have one little loading arm here, is what I call it, where you can put the wood when you first put it on, and when it splits, one side will kind of flop towards you and the other side will flop back onto this rack. So what I usually do is I'll take it, put it on this section. If this piece in the front needs to be split again, I'll go ahead and split it a second time and then roll the secondary piece back here into position to continue splitting that one. Seems to save quite a bit of time, and these racks are pretty sturdy. This is the cover. It doesn't come with the log splitter, but it's something that you can purchase additionally, and it's something that I use all the time. Generally, I will wheel the log splitter out to the work site, keep it there for 2 or 3 days, split what I need to split, and then pack it back up and bring it in the garage. But I always make sure to put this cover on it overnight so the dew doesn't settle, and it just protects the hardware and the components against undue exposure. This thing runs about 35 bucks, and I'll put a link in the description below, but in my opinion, it's worth every penny because you want to protect your investment. Starting the machine is pretty straightforward. You want to make sure that the gas is turned on and that the choke is turned to the choke position, and it's cold. It might take a couple pulls.
The Champion 2710 log splitter is a pretty fantastic machine. I can easily split large knotted pieces and even logs that have multiple connection points between them, including large trunks jetting off of them. Once activated to return, the splitting ram returns behind the safety bars autonomously, which allows time to clear the wood racks and adjust the log that you're working on or load up a new log. The loading racks catch both sides of split logs, but a watchful eye is recommended to ensure that they aren't accidentally pushed off onto your toes or onto the engine. The vertical splitting position is best used to manage large, heavy logs that can be easily rolled onto the splitter board from ground level. This will really save your back. Once you learn to be proficient with the splitter, you'll learn faster ways to split large quantities of wood rapidly by strategically splitting your logs into pieces that can be stacked and split in multiples, so that way you can get 4 or 5 splits off of one splitting ram cycle.
Well, it's about time for me to stop talking about my log splitter and get to using it. And if you guys want to see the wood that this puppy can split up and some more shots of it in action, I want you to click right over here, and I'll see you on that video.